Hello and welcome. My name is Sasha McDowell, and I'm a leadership and career coach. I want to talk about something today that is a little bit non-traditional for many. Today, I want to talk about love as a core value at work. And so for many folks, that can feel like an unconventional pairing. I sincerely hope for many of you that there have been times where you love your job or that you love your career as a whole. But when we think about the workplace itself, we don't often think about love and work together. Many of the great leaders that I have had the pleasure of working with actually identify at least one core value that is rooted in love. And I've heard it called many different things. Folks may call it connection or care. Sometimes people simply call it relationships. So the particular word that resonates with each of us varies, but the root of each of these values is the same. It's love. And so it really raises a key question about work, which is how can we bring love or care or empathy, compassion, kindness into our work lives to build connected professional relationships? So as we all know, relationships are everything. At its most simple, each relationship has two folks in it, right? Whether we're talking about our personal lives or we're talking about work, there are always at least two people there, you and the other person. And so we want to make sure that we're building relationships where both perspectives are voiced, both perspectives are heard. When we know who we are as leaders and what we value, we are much better positioned to show up consistently with other folks in our relationships, right? Then we are ready to share our own viewpoints. We're ready to listen to other people. We're positioned to build strong relationships. And so the second thing that I want to talk to you about today is that one of the ways to know ourselves even more deeply and to clarify that self-awareness and therefore to be consistent in how we show up and interact with other people is to get really clear on our core values. This helps us as leaders. It also helps us as human beings. When we are able to clearly identify our values and use those values to guide our choices, we feel better about who we are and how we show up. We're all busy. We all face competing demands. And so when we're clear on what we value most, it's easier, it's less stressful, and it's faster to make the decisions that are going to feel good to us, both in the short term and in the long term. And so I want to present you with a challenge or an action step that you can take today. I know, again, everybody's busy, so I'm going to ask you to spend no more than 30 minutes on this. But I want you to sit down and write in response to a couple of reflection questions. The first one is, how would you describe yourself at age 10? And write that down. The second is, when you are your best self now as an adult, how do you show up with other people? What does that look like? And the third thing I want you to write down is, after you have used those questions sort of as reflections and as thought starters, I want you to write down 3 to 6 values that are important to you now. Identifying core values is definitely an iterative process. It's pretty hard to get that list right on the first go round. So I'm going to invite you to keep the list handy. Maybe you keep it even right up on the desktop of your computer. And as the next few weeks go by, I want you to ask yourself, how is this value showing up in my life? Is it showing up as much as I would like it to? Do I need to be deliberate or intentional about pulling this value into my life more often? When we know who we are and we can clearly articulate our core values, we are much better able to show up consistently in our relationships and be the person that we want to be. Of course, this positively impacts our close relationships at work, but it also has a ripple effect out to our teams and to our greater work cultures, so that we can really build cultures where people can show up as who they are and then everybody can thrive. Thanks for being here today. See you next time.